I feel like having an egg. Actually, I've got 2 eggs I brought with me, so I'm gonna tuck into that, guys. Prepare it all. Lovely stuff. I've always had this kind of desire to eat peanut butter. I mean, even when I was a kid, I remember me and my brother, and so we'd have. Well, actually, he liked peanut butter more, and I used to like Marmite, that really weird yeast stuff, But there's something brilliant about it. That on toast with butter, thick butter, like in the UK. Man, you just can't beat it. And I miss that. I mean, I've seen all this Vegemite and all that shit, and they just don't taste the same. Even Marmite now, maybe it's just a thing when you're younger, you have different taste buds, you have different kind of like, how should I say, levels of, I suppose your appetite's different, your tastes and your standards are different. But even though I have Marmite, it's okay, but it still doesn't hit the mark like it used to, as I recall from memory. But peanut butter still has that. I have had times when I've had so much peanut butter, like, I've had lunch, and so I can take some sandwiches, not because I'm being a cheapskate, because it just feels good. And I found myself, got to a point where I detested it. It's about a year and a half ago, I detested it here in the Philippines. And I think what it is here in the Philippines, this is something I've been researching, is that everything is so damn sweet or salt or has so much addition and stuff in your food. And I find here, even buying whole wheat bread, right? Buying whole wheat bread is just, there's a sweetness in the whole wheat. It's supposed to be fundamentally neutral, just the whole wheat and the basic stuff, the yeast, whatever it is you use to make sure that it doesn't go off quickly. I mean, the shelf life shouldn't be long for any bread, really. If you have that, then you're putting enhancers in there, which is not good for the body. So anyway, here's my egg. So going back to the peanut butter, is that there's a sweetness in the peanut butter, and I've been researching it, and I found that recommendations for types of peanut butter, you wouldn't believe the ones that they say you shouldn't eat. Those are the ones that you see everywhere. This is a Sun Pat. There's the Skippy American ones. There's loads of ones, even stuff from England and Australia. It's just, you wouldn't believe the shit that's in there that's not good for you, right? Carbohydrates and protein that doesn't break down properly. Anyway, it's and I found 2-3 that are quite good, and they say that the best peanut butter is the one that has that oil layer on top. In other words, it doesn't integrate into the peanut butter and you just scoop it out. You've actually got to stir the peanut butter. It's a sign of good quality of the nut. The nut and its source is that you have to stir it in, then you use it. So the oil sits on top, right? And the pureness of the peanut butter sits below because the oil rises. So they're saying these ones are the ones you get and you stir them in, and there's like 3 or 4 I noticed now. I only actually saw one in the shop I got, and it didn't taste too bad. I mean, it had a kind of like a neutral taste, which you expect with all this shit not in it. But I felt good eating it, so I'm gonna go and try and get more, and I get a larger bottle of that one. So anyway, that's that. Other than that, keeping yourself healthy in the Philippines, I don't think it's that easy, really. If you're looking at what you consume, I would say, you have a higher risk here of eating things that really would work against your metabolism, your health. And certainly, probably things you wouldn't even touch back home, because the minute you eat something back home, you don't quite taste too sweet, too sour, too salty, too rich, and that's always a good sign. Even the coffees here, they say, there's so many coffees that are laced with a syrup. They don't actually use coffee bean. They grind a certain amount of, like, what do they call it, made up style, man-made ingredients, right? That taste like coffee and taste like tea, and they put it in these bags or whatever it is, and you think you're eating from the big name like Nescafe and what's the other one, Maxwell House, and all these guys. And there's loads of different types here in the Philippines, right? Manufacturers that are actually made in the Philippines and made outside America, made in Italy, like La Savia, even some of those, just the shit that's in them, you wouldn't believe it. And Filipinos don't even know this. They eat it because it's a traditional thing to eat. It tastes sweet to them. It's part of their society and cultural thing to eat sweet things. They just love it. And when I look at the stuff I saw, man, I've completely gone off of drinking coffee now. I was never a strong or a crazy coffee drinker. You know, it wasn't something I had every morning. Every once in a while I get a crave, like having a bar of chocolate or something, then I would do that. And that's another thing. Chocolate's another thing that I found out to have a load of shit in there. But I'll have coffee and I'll be selective. But now I'm finding myself don't even want to try because I don't trust anything. All these manufacturers, even the big boys with the big names, the reputable ones of past, you can't rely on them because they're shifting away from quality to giving you volume and cheaper for them to manufacture. So just be careful what you eat, guys. That's chocolate, it's any kind of sweet biscuits, you know, I mean from sweet biscuits to digestive, to milk, again the same thing with milk, to tea. They say something in the tea, not necessarily, it's best to have loose tea because it's neutral, it's what you're getting organically, it's the leaves. But when you get tea in tea bags, those tea bags are made of glue. There's a kind of glue they use which is supposed to be able to absorb by the body, but using a lot of tea frequently in tea bags has toxins that can actually affect your blood system, your blood pressure, your cardiovascular system, your breathing. So these things, there's so much you need to just research, do some research. If you're drinking something or eating some a lot, research it to make sure that it's good for you. Otherwise, you could be killing yourself rapidly. Alright guys, I rambled a bit there, but Chris here in Manila.